Back to the channel, everyone. In today's video, I want to talk about the almost nightmare situation that I ran into, but I got lucky, and it wasn't a nightmare, but it looked like it was going to be. So we'll get into that. First, I wanted to thank the new subscribers to the channel. We picked up a few in the last 24 hours. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And just wanted to quickly mention again that I'm still a little ways away from this, but when I hit the magical 1,000 subscriber mark, I decided to increase the challenge that I set for myself. So once I hit that mark, it's now going to be 250 straight deliveries that I'm going to do in this challenge, accepting every offer from DoorDash that comes across my phone. More details about that when we get closer. It may be a while before I get it, but not if you subscribe today. So it might not take too long. Just hit that subscribe button. Okay. I got off to a slow start today. Well, and you'll see the downtime at the total at the end of this video. Really slow start. By the way, this is Monday, June 2nd, 2025. Just like with Saturday, I started off with 3 consecutive McDonald's orders to start the dash. So here you see I logged in at 6 a.m., took almost 40 minutes before I took my first offer. Just slow. I think that at the bottom of the screen it said like estimated like 17 to 22 minute wait time or something crazy. So waited almost 40 minutes and took a $5 order just to get me out of the apartment. Then it wasn't order number 2 wasn't until 7:15. There's McDonald's order number 2, $8, and then fairly quickly after that one got the third one. So, and then my fourth order of Walgreens, so 8:20, so we're almost like 2.5 hours into the dash, and all I have is the $19 on 3 McDonald's. That's all I have, about 2.5 hours into this dash. Crazy. And my wife was like, well, hopefully it'll pick up, and things did pick up. It was still like it was never busy today, but at least it picked up more than what it was in the first couple hours. It didn't stay that bad. Substitutions continue to be a problem. I get this Walgreens. All I gotta do is walk into the store for one item. You see there, and boom. Even just going in there for one item, they don't have it. I have to substitute. So, it's just, I don't know. I'm on, like, this last week or so, I've been on a bad streak. Customers are not ordering what the stores have. It's crazy. Delivered that at 8:46. So this was what is this? 28 minutes for 8:50. So okay order. And then I didn't really get a higher paying order until close to 10 a.m. 4 hours in. $20, 8 miles. Is just a standard grocery shop. Nothing unusual about this. And this took me about, what is that, like 51 minutes, I think, and made $20. So $11.75 from DoorDash, $8.60. Okay. So now the story begins here. Okay, so I get, and what time is this? 10:37. So I went ahead, and I think I was home when I took this order. 2 item Meyer. Yeah, it's going out to Obet's, but look at the 2 items. I mean, just a couple seasonings. I mean, easy as can be. And the store had those, surprisingly. This was all interstate. That's another thing too. So it was 100% interstate. This delivered to a Wendy's associate. The Wendy's sat right off the interstate. So I mean, I had this done, shop delivered in no time. 25 minutes, less than a half hour, I made the $15. So now, reason why I start the story here is okay, so when I'm on the outer belt heading to this customer, I pass Route 23, High Street, the exit for that. And as I'm passing that, this is the first order where I passed that exit, and there's this long line, like half a mile to three-quarters of a mile of traffic, just stop and go, trying to take 23 south. And I take that on an almost like probably like at least every other day. I'm from the outer belt, I'm getting off of 23 and heading south. And usually I just go to like the first traffic light, which is called Rathmel Road, and I make routine deliveries in that area. But when I saw that, I was like, no, I'm going to watch where my orders are going. Anything going 23 south, decline. I don't know if it's an accident or what's going on there, but I ain't touching that. Okay. So I deliver this. I'm coming back to zone. And just as I'm coming back to zone, I get a catering order for Red Robin, and going right back to where I went for the previous order, the Meyer, same exit. Now this customer wasn't right off the exit like the Wendy's. I once I got off the exit is about a mile and a half of driving. But I went ahead and did this as well. Picked up the Red Robin, go right back out to where I was. Same thing, passing 23. The same, huge long backup. Okay. So I deliver that. This just takes me like 27 minutes. So again, good money, like in less than a half hour. Is over a $17 tip on that. Okay, so now I had a little bit of trouble closing this order out. I had to drive away. I had a bad signal. I had to drive away from the customer. And right when I close it out, I get this hidden tip, another back-to-back catering order, $17.75 hidden tip from this Eastern Walk. Never picked up from this place before. And guess where this Eastern Walk was? South High Street. Okay. Now, I have to, when I get off that exit, I'm not going south off the exit. This Eastern Walk is heading north off the exit. So let's see what happens. So I'm coming along the outer belt, and I'm approaching 23, and there's a billboard type sign, construction sign, that says 23 north exit closed. Okay, fine. I'll pass the exit. I'll get off, the 71, the interstate, and, it'll probably detour me around and, whatever. Okay. After I pass that, then the next sign says for 23 north, use exit like such and such. Okay. And then I drive even a little bit further, and then I see like the sign for 23 south, like the south is covered with north. So maybe it is open. And The construction's been going on around that area, that intersection for months, and it's never ending. And they've changed the traffic pattern like two or three times in the last year, where, an exit that in the past was supposed to be going north is now going south. And so they change the pattern and then they change it again. And so you never know what to expect getting off of there. But first sign says it's closed, then the next two signs that I see indicate that it's open, and south is what's closed. That's how I'm interpreting it. Folks, I get off the exit, and it's straight the F up 23 south. There's nothing north at all about that. I get off the exit, and it's just the standard. They covered up that south on the one sign with north, but no, it is south. And guess what? I casually stroll right into the long backup of traffic, and the stop and go, and I'm all of a sudden caught up in this mess that I'm not even supposed to be a part of. I'm not going. I'm wanting to go in that direction. I'm wanting to go the other direction. So my first instinct is to call DoorDash support. And, maybe that sounds crazy. I know, I get it. But I rarely, even though I live in a, fairly major city or whatever, I've been pretty lucky the last 2.5 years. I don't run into this kind of thing very often. There was one other incident, and this happened somewhere else in my zone, but this was probably like at least 2 years ago. I ran into something similar to this, and I called DoorDash support. I said, hey, this is what's going on, and, there's an unexpected delay. Could you notate the order? And, this may take some extra time here. And they made a notation in the system and everything for me, okay? Well, today when I called support and went through the automated prompts, the the computer or whatever said that DoorDash support, if you're experiencing traffic delays, there's nothing really that a live agent is going to really be able to do. You don't need to do, unless basically it said that unless the customer was going to have a problem with you being delayed, you could always drop the order because of unexpected delays and stuff like that. But other than that, there's really nothing that can be done by a live agent. So I got nowhere with that phone call. So while I was stuck there, I messaged the customer. And here's the next screenshot. So I said, this is Joe, your dasher. Because of my direction to travel to the restaurant, I got stuck in extremely heavy construction traffic. It's probably going to take me at least another 20 minutes to get to the restaurant. Sorry for the delay. Because it's about a quarter of a mile, something like that, up to the traffic light, and it's just stopped and stacked, or maybe a half a mile, something like that, and it's stopped. I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, this is going to take forever. 20 minutes easily, and the customer says, no worries, the order isn't even ready yet. Thanks for the update. Okay. And guys, I was tempted to go, like, there were some gaps in between, like, the barrels, like, in between the two directions of traffic. And I was tempted to make a U-turn. But I was going to have to, like, drive through, in most parts, kind of like a grassy ditch. And I just have a Hyundai accent. I don't have some kind of huge like truck or off-road vehicle or something like that. There's a chance I could have done some damage to my car driving. So as frustrating as this was, I just stayed in the stop and go traffic. And got up to that traffic light, Rathmel Road, did my U-turn there. And then I get now the restaurant wasn't that far, just on the other side of the interstate in a shopping center. So I just had to make that U-turn, and that was it. Now, take a guess before I show the screenshot. So this is at 11:52 when the customer responded. Okay, so how long do you think after that I took me to get to the restaurant? I took a screenshot when I arrived. Here we go, folks. 5 minutes. I don't know how. I have no idea how. How I could be stopped there with 300 million vehicles in front of me with brake lights, and must have been 2 or 3 light cycles that traffic light went through, and how another Twilight Zone moment for the 50-something dasher, how I got up to that light, made the U-turn, went back, got to the restaurant in 5 minutes. Your guess is as good as mine. I don't know. I don't understand. I don't get it. And in fact, the order still wasn't even ready. I got in there and it was like a 2 or 3 minute wait before everything was done and I got the order. I just, guys, unbelievable. I'll shut up here, but and then so delivered at 12:13. So all total, so this was 33 minutes. I made the 22.50. So so a lot of times we find ourselves saying things. Everybody does this. You always say comments like, oh, it took forever to get there to wherever you're going. But once in a while, stop and look at the actual time that it did take. And you could be surprised when you think that it took forever to get from A to B. One of these days, like, look at the actual time that it took, if you can, and you might be surprised. Well, I was beyond surprised on this one. And then another little story from today I thought I'd throw in here. I took this $8, almost 9 mile Dollar General. Again, I was kind of, had been like waiting on an order for several minutes and, a couple bad declines and finally took this one to take something. And so here's the 2 items. I needed help with this roaster. The associate was pretty helpful. But again, just like with, what was it, yesterday, I think, where I talked about this Dollar General location, both of these items, I had to walk up to the front of the store, the front door, to be able to scan them and complete the shopping in the app. I had brought a different roaster up front. That wasn't it. I had to walk back, get the right one, come back. And with the lady that was checking me out at the register and helping me find these, she said, yeah, I really feel for you dashers. I see you guys in here and you're holding your phone around and, trying to get a signal and, people coming up to the front door like you just did. And she said one girl was in here the other day. It took her like 15 minutes to like scan her items in her order. And she said, I am trying to get with the manager and, get some kind of like, signal boosters installed in here, whatever I don't, I personally don't know like what type of items, a place can install to help with that. I really don't know, but whatever it is, she's trying to get that solved because she feels bad for us. Took me 6 minutes to get the two items. If I saw the roaster sooner, and if the signal worked in the store, this would only took like 2 minutes. Um, and then delivered at 12:52. So that's 28 minutes for the $8. That it wasn't a good order. And I think that's might be the last order that I had screenshotted. Yeah, and there's my dash summary. That's actually 147.87. After I took this screenshot, the last customer added an additional $2 tip, so it's 147. And I was kind of surprised that I made this in only 5 active hours. I saw that and I was like, wow, that's like a $29 an hour rate, and you see the 3 hours of downtime. But like, and over an hour of that was the first like hour and a half of the morning, where I was mostly here and doing some stuff on the computer and and whatever. Might have walked the dog, whatever all else I did during some of that downtime. And then, of course, you got my trips out to the east side. You got those deadhead trips back each time I went out there. So that was part of it as well. But still, only was short a goal by just a couple bucks. So pretty good day. It was a little challenging, and I had the one, major scare, but I just, I don't know. I try, but I need to continue to try to like keep my cool. I got off that exit. I'm stuck in the traffic that I did not want to be in and told myself that I wouldn't be in, but here I am. Okay. I need to do a better job of, okay, I'm okay. It is what it is. Okay. I can't freak out. I can't panic. Just, it is what it is. And I just need to get through stuff like this. Okay. And that's my best advice to all of you as well. So anyway, that's all I got, folks. Thanks so much for watching. As always, be sure to drive safe out there. Be smart driving out there as well. And that's all I got. And until next time, thanks again.